I was 18, still in high school, when I entered fatherhood as a stepfather to my girlfriend's son, who's around 1.5. Fatherhood was pretty easy for me initially for the simple fact I was a stepchild and my relationship with my stepfather was no bueno until later on. The paternal instincts came natural. I think the earlier years in fatherhood, my biggest setback was my own personal development, more specific like maturity, just life experiences, emotional experiences, experience in relationships, all that. When you have a partner, just you and your partner's relationship. A lot more time to focus on you and your partner or self time or whatever you need. But when you have a child, now you're nourishing even more connections. It's you and your wife, you and your child, you as a family, and then yourself somewhere on the back burner, right? It's a dynamic transition with multiple evolving parts. The more mature the individual, the more developed the parent will generally be raising the child. But the more immature the parent or underdeveloped the parent, the more the child will exude similar mutant behaviors. And if it isn't the behaviors they pick up on, it'll cause anxiety, stress, impair their development. That's where the mutant part comes in. Parenting takes time, all of your time, into overtime and then double time. No hazard pay either. It's always father time. And it goes beyond just your relationship with your child, too. It includes how you interact with the people in your child's life as well. Healthy relationships around your child are very important. Even in times of turmoil, it's important to show forgiveness, mercy, patience, discipline. Those are moments that will help frame the way your child interacts with the world and people that come into their life and in their orbit. If you're arguing in front of your child, let's just say with their mother, then in their small child mind, that's how things are supposed to happen. So a new brain synapse will be linked and connected to arguing with people we're supposed to love. For me as a parent, as a young parent, it wasn't really the open arguing, but instead the dysfunction of the relationship in general. Mostly for me being emotionally immature, which isn't groundbreaking news or anything. Just a simple fact of the circumstance. I was in charge of a household and I was still in high school. Okay, I definitely recommend growing yourself before you grow somebody else. The first year together was pretty easy. We were ready to escape our childhood and start our lives. She was living with her mom, I was living with my mom and my stepdad. We didn't really get along, but we were pretty ready, like quick to nest. So we made it happen. Shout out to my wife. She was not playing around. We moved out, got an apartment that was supposed to be just like a little studio, but had a little bedroom. $450 a month. Times were good. Lots of great memories and bonds were made around that first year. But then eventually your flaws start to surface and weaknesses start to come to light. I was not nearly as prepared nor equipped to be a husband or a father, but after 12 years, I can say you do get a little bit better. And you're never going to really be completely prepared for fatherhood. However, I think if you're able to spend more time early on building your own avatar, building your own character, becoming who you want to shape into be, you'll have more to offer. But there's something to be said about being a young parent. I just felt more connected to my child since I had vivid childhood memories that were still young themselves. On the other hand, it unveiled both the challenge and opportunity to grow with my child, or children rather, which has been great in the long run. My children have been able to see their father grow as well. On the flip side, if you're not an involved parent or evolving parent, then you are going to be a detriment and a liability to your child's success. Go back to step one and develop a better self. There's no such thing as a part-time father, because how the hell you ain't stepping for your children every day of the week? Once you get put on fatherhood, it's expected you put in work on a consistent basis. This ain't no part-time gig, you dig? Now, there was a time when my wife and I separated in our early 20s, and a round trip to get my kids was like 210 miles every week. For me, father time is mandatory. And if you're gonna give up on that, on the life that you created, then you're just soft. I've had so many different phases of growth over the last 12 to 13 years and challenges. I'm really just not hearing the lame dad, absent father excuses. I understand sometimes we take side quests or start a different mission, but eventually we gotta get your head back in the game. You can't turn your back on your kingdom. How you start some shit and then walk away from it? I've just seen the demise of so many children due to inadequate, insufficient, or just absent parents. It's crazy. Now, I never had to deal with my kids' mother weaponizing my kids against me, and that being a reason I couldn't see my kids, but even that isn't an excuse to not do your due diligence as a father. I witnessed my dad fight for his daughter, represent himself in court and win, even against like the help of the and the aid of the state to his daughter's mom, even after she fled and went to a different jurisdiction and then had to fight another state and ultimately still won. There are no excuses. There's that common thing people say, parenting doesn't come with a handbook, but like, why the fuck not? It's a pretty common thing. Like, that's crazy to me that we aren't teaching fatherhood, motherhood, parenthood, etc. in high school. Because had I known the challenges of being a young parent, I probably would have maneuvered differently and positioned myself better to take care of my family. There's just not enough talk about like how to manage it all. My name's Ira. I'm 30. I'm a father of three. I've been a father since 2012. And in this series, I'm going to share some things that I've learned or experienced over the years as a father. And in this process, I just want to become a better dad and help other dads do the same. Welcome to Big Dad Energy, a place where we talk about fatherhood specifically, but parenthood in general. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. See you next week.